Hello, beautiful people. My mic was muted. Welcome to Website in a Weekend Wednesday. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to cut that out of the video for the replay, folks. Anyway, welcome to Website in a Weekend Saturday. It's been a crazy week, and I don't know what made me think today was Wednesday. Maybe all the W's. I don't know. But I'm Wendy Robinson. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to do something that I've done a couple times before. I'm going to build a website in less than an hour using tools that anyone can use. Um, Very simple. It's drag and drop, just like some of the other website builders out there. But I'm going to be using WordPress and a plugin called Elementor. But before we get started, I wanted to tell you that at the end, I'm going to share with you a resource you can use, a free resource, to help you prepare to build your website. Um, Deciding one day to build a website is great, but then there's planning that has to happen. And it's not just about the colors or the setup or the pictures you're going to use or the text you're going to use on your website. It's really about using your website as a strategic tool to an end, a means to an end, right? Whether that is you're a speaker and you're looking for speaker engagements, people to download your media kit, or whether it's a website for all you college graduates that are looking for a brand new job. Maybe you're doing a website for personal reasons, or maybe you're starting a business and you really don't want to spend a whole lot of money on a web designer. You want to do it yourself because there are lots of tools out there that can help you do it. Well, I'm going to show you one today where I can build a website in less than an hour and then replace it with text and images that I want for my business. Okay, so let's see. Do we have a couple of? Okay, we have an echo chamber. Thanks, Gwen. Let me shut this down and see if that helps. Is the echo chamber gone, Gwen? Let me know. Oh, okay. Maybe it's your device, Gwen. Not sure. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Let me know what you guys hear, and I'll try to adjust something else. Gwen, let me know if the echo is gone, if you were able to rectify that. So anyway, today, like I said, I'm going to show you how I build a website for some of my, I want to call quick and easy or quick and simple um, website installs for people who are just getting started and they want um, to know how to get a website up really quickly. All right. So I'm going to share my screen in just a minute. Let me just get a few things going here. First thing I want to talk about though is your domain and your hosting account. When you're working with WordPress, um, there are two websites on the internet that will help you with what WordPress is. Okay. Very simply, WordPress is a piece of software. Okay. Yeah, switch to Chrome, Gwen. Maybe it is Safari. Um, WordPress is a piece of software that is free, right? The actual software is free, but you have to use it on an area on the internet that you have to pay for, a hosting account, right? And in order to present a website on the internet, it has to have an address or a domain. Now, some people will build a website on a third-party platform, meaning they pay someone else to host their website files and their editor and all of that, and they can um, build a website on that platform. Case in point, one of them is Wix, right? You pay Wix a monthly fee, and their editor and software is on Wix's server. With a self-hosted WordPress website, which is uh, where you can use the free version of WordPress.com's software. I'm sorry, WordPress.org. I'll get to WordPress.com in a minute. Um, you have to use that free software on a hosted account. And then basically what you're doing is you're renting a piece of another company's computer in order to hold your files and render your website when someone puts your email or your website address into a browser. Okay. Then there's WordPress.com. Okay. Stay away from WordPress.com. And let me tell you why. First, let me tell you what it is. WordPress.com is owned by the same company that owns the code, the WordPress software, the program, right? But what they did is they created a platform where you can use, just like Wix, you can use tools on their server to build your website. It's more restricted. You pay for every little piece of functionality, and it's the same software, just in a different environment. What I'm going to show you today is how to use the free version of WordPress, the software, the application, on your own hosting account, which is what 23 to 30% of the internet is made up of. Yeah, 23 to 30% somewhere in there of the websites on the internet are built on WordPress, on self-hosted platforms. Okay. Companies like Dell, I don't know, Sony, big companies will usually have a dedicated server for their website. But people like us, small business owners, independent professionals, we can basically borrow or rent space from hosting companies like Bluehost, which is this t-shirt I'm wearing today. Bluehost and WordPress are the two platforms I use. Another hosting company I've used is HostGator, SiteGround. I'm testing out a new one called Name Hero. And you can usually buy a domain and your hosting account from these places. As a matter of fact, these hosting companies will give you your domain for free if you don't already have it with your first year of hosting. Okay, so I'm getting ready to show you the back end of one of my hosting accounts on Bluehost. And what I did for today's class is I created a subdomain of one of my main domains, and I'm going to build the website on that subdomain. So what is a subdomain? All right, let me share that with you. So a subdomain is a folder underneath your main domain in your hosting account. When you purchase or you rent space from one of these hosting companies, your files are in certain folders, okay, on their server. As a matter of fact, let me show you what that looks like before I show you subdomains. Okay. So this is my file manager of my hosting account on Bluehost with all my websites for this particular account, right? So I'm not going to, you don't have to remember all this. I just want to show you that my main website is called webappeal.co. Then I also have one called Spiritually Planned. Working on that. I'll tell you about that at the end too. And then you'll see one here that says Faye-Webappeal-Co. I actually built a website for a client using this particular hosting account, and then I migrated that website over to her hosting. And then as you can see, there's one here called WIAW, which stands for Website in a Weekend, which is what we're doing today, -webappeal.co. When you see the dash before your main domain, that means you created a subdomain. Subdomains are free. You don't have to pay for them. And then if you have an account where you can build more than one website, you could absolutely build another website on a subdomain. And the thing about that is, say someone sells jewelry and candles. They may have a website called boutique.com, and their boutique.com is their clothes or their jewelry, right? But shop.boutique boutique.com might be just their candles or just their jewelry or just their clothing. So they can segregate their website into two different websites underneath the same domain. All right. Just a little bit of background on what a subdomain is, because that's what I'm going to be building this website on today. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the subdomains. And I'm going to give you a little bit more information on that. And then we're going to move on and start building. All right, world, time to take you on. Let's go. So one more thing about subdomains is when you're creating them, be mindful of what you're creating, what you're using to create for that piece right before the dot. Okay. And what I did for this one is I chose something that may be temporary, or I might keep this subdomain to use later, maybe turn this into a more comprehensive class. But be careful of what you call your subdomain, because there are some words that are used in the scheme of this program that are off limits. For instance, if you name this home.webappeal.co, there may be some conflicts, because the word home is something that's used for a particular page on your website. Or if you chose something like sitemap, or that's not a good example. But anyway, words like home, about, any of the core pages on a website. You don't want to use those as your subdomain name, because it may cause a conflict. So pick something that goes along with whatever it is you're building on that subdomain if you're building a website. Okay? All right. Let's move on to an area in Bluehost called My Sites, and it's basically where I've built my sites. This particular plan I have with Bluehost lets me build more than one website. So today we're going to go ahead and build one on my subdomain. So what I want to do is scroll down and click Add Site, create new website, and I'm going to go with limitless customization, because I know what I'm doing here and I'm going to show you. But this particular path is a more directed path to building a website. They give you tools ahead of time so you don't have to think about it. You're more than welcome, if you use a Bluehost account, to go that route, but I'm going to show you the way I do it from scratch. So we're going to go ahead and click on Get Started. We're going to name the website in a weekend, and click Next. So just give your site a name. You could change it later. Okay, in the next screen, what they're showing you here is they're giving you some options of plugins. Now, what's a plugin? A plugin is just another piece of software that you add onto your website to do particular function. So the ones they're showing here are default for Bluehost. Bluehost will add these to your website if you want them while you're installing WordPress. So you can start off with these. And the reason they do that is because they probably have a financial arrangement or financial partnership with these plugins. So WP Forms is just it's a great light and quick plugin to build forms on your website. Forms for opt-ins, forms for messages, any kind of form you need on your website. Monster Insights is actually a plugin that will hook your website up with your Google Analytics account, so that you can monitor your metrics, traffic, and otherwise on your website. And then Opt-in Monster, I've never used it in depth. I've played with it a little bit, but basically it's how to capture different opt-ins that you may need on your website. So if you want someone to grab a freebie, you could set this up instead of using your email service provider. You can use this plugin to create an opt-in form. You can also formalize this so that if you have a shop and someone abandons their cart, they will send you some sort of notification that will trigger an email to send to them. Hey, you forgot, those emails we get when we are on a website and we're trying to buy something and we change our mind before we check out, and then we get an email like within a day or two later saying, hey, you forgot something. Opt-in Master will help you do that. But we're going to uncheck all of these because we don't want them. We don't need them. Then up here in the domain area, you're going to choose the domain that you want to build the website on. And as you can see, there's WIAW.WebAppeal.co. We're going to build it on that subdomain. If I did not already have a website built on WebAppeal or on Spiritually Planned, I could choose one of those. But let's go with this one. All right. And I'm in the way, so can I move myself? No, I can't move myself over. All right, click next. All right, so right now, Bluehost is installing basic core WordPress, the basic core WordPress application onto your hosting. So it just takes a few minutes. It's basically setting up your folders, like that file folder system that I showed you. It's adding a folder called WIAW.WebAppeal.co. So all the files, including this WordPress application installation, is going in those folders. Now, anything I add to the website, like pictures or pieces of text or any kind of documents like PDFs or Word document files, if I happen to load those onto my website, those will also be stored in a particular folder in that file folder system on Bluehost. Okay, so now basically what Bluehost is doing now is, again, it's giving you some assistance with building your site. What kind of site do you want to build? After this, if you chose blog or store or business, it would show you some themes, or not themes that kind of facilitate a blog or a store, right? But again, we're doing this from scratch, so we're going to skip this step. Now, this is where all your credentials are. So it gives you the username, the password, the website address, and then where you would log in to maintain it. If you use Bluehost, you can copy and paste this somewhere so you don't forget it. Just click the I, and it'll give you the password. So you can see that and copy and paste that. If you use some other host, it may look a little bit different, but you might get an email with all your credentials in it. It's important to do that so that you know how to get into the dashboard of your website. Okay, so the website is built. So let's go ahead and log into WordPress. Boom. Now, I usually don't log into WordPress this way after this first time. And I'll show you why, because I don't always log into Bluehost. You don't have to log into Bluehost in order to access your WordPress website, or you don't have to log into whatever hosting company you use to log in to WordPress. Okay. All right. So, of course, it didn't take me right to the website. Let me go back and grab the password. Come on. Okay, while we're waiting for that to come up, any questions so far? Oh, Gwen, I'm glad that worked. Great. Okay, it's being temperamental. All right, so since I didn't copy and paste the password, because usually what it does is, remember I showed you click the I so you could see the password? In Bluehost, it generates a real crazy password for you to get in. So we're going to say I lost my password. Put my username in there and then I'll get an email. To select a new password. And then we'll be rolling. Let me check my email. And Bluehost is really quick about it, so it shouldn't take too long. There it is, and we're gonna tap that. Choose a new password. I don't want that one. I want this password because that's the one I can remember. And that, oops, perfect. Okay, so now I've reset my password on my phone. Let's see if we can get in so I can show you what the website looks like. Now, this is a basic installation that happens. Everybody gets the same installation when they use this way of building their website. It's a let's save that. It's a default installation. They install the same theme every time to everybody's website to give them a starting point, right? And so what I'm going to show you in a minute is other starting points, because this installation, let me show you what this website looks like. It looks like it's blah, really. So let me show you what it looks like. So once you log in, this is what it will look like if you use Bluehost. If you use another hosting company, of course, your setup may look a little bit different, but that's because Bluehost has set up sort of like a tour for beginners, right? And so we're going to get rid of all of this and just show you what it looks like if it was just blank, okay? Blank with that default theme. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we did that one, we installed WordPress. Now we're going to clean up. We're going to clean up what Bluehost set up for you, right? And so the first thing I want to do is go to themes. And sometime today, and it's going to show you a bunch of themes that you can choose. We're underneath the Bluehost menu item. That's not where we want to go. We want to scroll down to appearance and themes. This heading here, again, is Bluehost's overview and walkthrough tutorial. We want to go to the actual theme that's on this installation. So you go to appearance and themes. It's going to show you the default themes that were loaded. And so they load 4 different themes. We don't need all these themes, but it gives you, again, a starting point. They made one of them active, and it's the 2022 version. A little side note, WordPress comes out with a new theme every single year that they choose to be their default theme. I believe the developers that work for WordPress come up with these themes, and it's a basic theme. They try to change it up every year, but for the most part, it's just a basic theme. This one here is the one that's active, and you know it's active because here it says customize. If you move over to this one and you just put your cursor over this one, you'll see that you can either activate it or look at a live preview. But we're going to get rid of these other themes except this last one. So you click on theme details, and then over here on the bottom right, click delete. And okay, we don't need it. I'm going to show you how to load a theme that I really like, and it's going to really help you get this website done in less than an hour. Okay, we're 11:27. Watch how quick this is going to be. And one more we're going to get rid of. All right, so this is the 2022 theme. So let me show you what this looks like. If you ever want to look at what your look to see what your website looks like at any given moment, go up here to the top left, put your cursor over the name of your website, and then right click and open up in a new tab the actual website. And this is what it looks like. Very basic. One blog post, a header image, a sample page. The website's called Website in a Weekend. Everybody's website looks like this when they make that default or when they open up their first website before they do anything, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all that. We are going to add a new theme. There's my add new button. Oh, goodness. Usually there's an add new theme. So here's where working with a hosting company sometimes grates me, makes me a little annoyed. Because Bluehost is hosting this website, they're trying to push as much of their partnerships as possible, right? And so instead of adding the theme that I want to use, we're going to get rid of the plugins first because that's how Bluehost is doing it. So we're going to go down to plugins and then install plugins. And we're going to get rid of them. Because look at all these advertisements. There's an advertisement for Jetpack. There's an advertisement for Creative Mail. We're going to get rid of all of them. So see, here are all of the plugins that Bluehost added in as a default. We're going to get rid of them. First, we have to deactivate all of them. So I'm going to click this box, which will capture all of them. And then I'm going to choose from this drop down to deactivate and then hit apply. And what that does is it deactivates all of them. So now you can delete them. You can click this box. So all of them are checked. You see they're all in a deactivated mode. And then delete. It's going to ask me, am I sure? And boom, they're gone. So now you see that there's no Bluehost menu item over here. Because I got rid of all of that stuff. I don't want them to walk me through anything because I'm going to show you how I do it. It's easy. Get rid of all the plugins. Now we can go up to Appearance and Themes. And there should be a button that says Add New. Because of how Bluehost sets up their default installation, they hide that button so that they can walk you through their recommended overview and recommend this theme and this plugin and that, because they have partnerships with them and they're allowed to do that, right? But again, get rid of all of it. Now I'm going to add new, and I'm going to add in a theme called Astra. And as you can see, it's the second one in this column here. What usually comes up first are very popular themes. This is a repository that WordPress, the WordPress organization, presents to you when you're building your website. So it could give you an idea of the type of websites you can start from, or templates, right? We're going to use Astra because Astra is very versatile and it works well with Elementor, which is the page builder plugin that I use to start most of my websites for DIYers. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and install, and then we're going to make active by clicking the activate button. Now, instead of the 2022 theme being the active theme, it's now the Astra theme. And if we go back to the live version of this website and we click refresh, you'll see that it still looks pretty boring, right? It's still basic. It's just a basic website. So now here's where the magic comes in, right? We're still under an hour. I've got 27 minutes left. So if we go back to this tab where the back office or the dashboard of WordPress is, we're going to go down to plugins, and we're going to add a plugin that's going to create our website template starting point. So we added the Astra theme, and now we're going to add a template so that we don't have to start from scratch. All right, we're going to add new, and we're going to add a plugin called Starter Sites. It should come up. It's starter templates for Elementor, WordPress, and Beaver Builder templates. So we're going to hit install now. It's by Brainstorm Force. It's a great company. And then we're going to activate it. And we're going to click this button here. This is another video explaining Astra and all of its great features. We're not going to spend time doing that today. And the starter sites. The plugin for starter sites is actually a spin-off of the Astra theme. And they build templates for different page builders. There's the Elementor page builder. There's the Gutenberg page builder, which is the default page builder that comes with WordPress. And then there's one called Beaver Builder. I've never used it. Don't know what it's about. I like Elementor. So we're going to click that top right button. It's going to take you back to the dashboard. Now we're going to pick a starter site. If you go to Appearance Now, you'll see that there's an additional menu item called Starter Templates. And here's where we're going to choose what we want our website to look like. They want me to watch this video. I don't want to watch this video. Okay. Click the Start My Website. And then on the next page, you pick the builder that you're going to use or you want to use. The block editor is called the Gutenberg editor. I don't like it. It's clunky, but it's WordPress. It's a WordPress product. And it's pretty simple. Not a whole lot of bells and whistles, but it's getting better. Elementor is amazing. And again, there's Beaver Builder. So you want to click on Elementor, or we're going to use Elementor today to build this website. So now what you'll see are a bunch of boxes will pull up with in their screenshots of different website templates that you can start with. Any of the sites, of course, that say premium come with the premium version of the starter plugin and Astra Pro, but there are plenty of different websites here, website templates that you can choose from that are free. Okay, you can look at the different categories. All right, you have business, agency, restaurant, hotel and travel, construction, real estate, transport. You have local business like plumbers and roofing services, movers, cleaning services, personal care, salon, beauty, fitness, yoga, professionals, finance, accounting, law, and so on and so on. You even have a category called blog for you bloggers out there. We'll actually create a standard website with a blog feature added already on, and all you have to do is add new blog posts, get rid of the ones that they put there for filler, and create the site and make it look your own, right? Okay, so we're going to use a template that I've used several times before. That's very simple. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, this one here, ebook author. So let's say you want to sell ebooks. This would be a great template website for you to start with because there are elements in it that you can replace that already mimic what you want the website to do, right? After you click on the template, a editing window comes up to show you what it looks like close up, right? So you have a space at the top here, and I'm going to get rid of this for a minute. Oh goodness, let me go back. Okay, before we do that, let me just explain what's over here on the left. On the left here, you can choose a logo to replace what you see here. I usually don't do that right away. We're going to dispense with that today. Let's pretend that we're creating a website for somebody named Catherine Morris, and she has a book and ebooks to sell, right? You could, if you wanted to, upload a file here for your logo. If you don't have a logo, you can do it later, okay? It's not mandatory that you do it now. So basically, you can click this button and say skip and continue. And then you can choose a palette. You can choose a overall theme as far as colors and text for this website. If you choose one, you'll see the colors change slightly. There's that blue, here's that aqua, here's the purple. Okay, now the pictures don't change. Like this picture of the book doesn't change because that's actually an image that's embedded on this page. But the overall look and feel of some of the core or simple elements of the website changes with those colors. You see here there's different colors when you put your cursor over the menu titles. The buttons change color after you change the default colors of the website. I think we're going to go ahead and go with this aqua. I kind of like that one. Okay. And as you can see, the menu items changed. We're going to keep the fonts because that's not a big deal. Just it keeps things consistent. The whole website now has this combination of fonts throughout the website. So just click on continue. And this block here, this dialog box that has come up is really just information for the developers to keep track of who has what. I'm an expert. You would choose beginner if it's your first time, obviously. And I'm building a website for my client. You can check this box if you want to get emails, but I leave it unchecked because I'm already on their list. And you can also tell it which parts of the website template you want to import. If you don't want to import the content, it won't. And the content meaning the pictures and any other attachments. You don't have to import the widgets. I've always just imported everything because I want it to look exactly like the demo site. So you go ahead and click install, and it's building your website. Just like that. Now, of course, you have to change the pictures. You have to change the text. You have to get rid of certain elements that you don't need. I'm going to show you that in just a few minutes as soon as it finishes building. Take a sip of water here. And the great thing about this is if you don't like what it looks like, you can always do it again and pick another template. You're still using the Astra theme, but the template of the website you're using is what you change. Okay, this button here will take you back to the dashboard, top right. Okay, now, oh goodness, let me skip that. Thought it would take me back. Let me X out of that. Okay, now I'm back at the dashboard. All right, so if we were to refresh our website now, it's going to look totally different. So this is what it looks like when you first install WordPress and then you change it over to the Astra theme. Still very basic, right? But we just chose a template and we installed it. And now when we refresh the screen, this is what my website looks like now. Well, that didn't work. What happened? Let me see. Hold your phone, hold your potato. Okay, it created all the pages. Okay. That's what the home page is supposed to look like. Oh, I think I'm on a different page. Okay. So anyway, if we click home, that's just one of the pages, one of those pages. This is what the website looks like now. And remember, we changed the overall theme coloring of the website to be that blue. And now, as you can see, the picture, like I said, the picture's not going to change color because it's a picture. We want to change that for whatever book this person is selling or whatever ebook you're selling. Here's a heading here and some text and a button and how they can read it on Kindle. There's a section for credentials if you have any. If not, you can get rid of that. There's a section for a picture of you as the author, and there may be a little short introduction to who this person is. Now, and a read more button, obviously that goes to or should go to a page called About. But this gives you a starting point to what you want your website to look like. And I picked a pretty boring theme, but there are more fancy themes out. I'm sorry, I keep saying theme. It's a template. There are more. There are fancier templates out there that you can choose for any industry. Okay. Here's the section for an upcoming book. People can click this button and you can attach a opt-in pop-up or whatever, so people can opt into a wait list. Another area to get on the email list for this person. And then here's the footer. Okay. If we click on, let's see, books, this is what the template version of the books page looks like. So if you had several books you wanted to showcase, this is what this page looks like. You can purchase the book. I'm not sure where this goes. It looks like there's a other pages on here. It's actually this, I think this website has, yep, it does have a shop on it. And I'll show you that in a minute. So if I were to click on this book here, it takes me to the product page for this book. This template came with a e-commerce shop already loaded that you just have to put in your own items. And so they added the book, and then what it does is instead of taking you to a page for the book, it just it just changes this button to a checkout. So after you put it in your shopping cart, as you can see now up here, there should be one in the shopping cart, and it gives you a summary of what that item is. You can either go from here and go to checkout, or you can click checkout down below where we were. And this is what the checkout page would look like. Now, of course, there are things that you have to set up, like you have to attach your your Stripe account. You saw that message that came up because my Stripe account or PayPal or whatever I'm going to use is not attached. There's some work there that you have to do. You could go through Amazon checkout. They have that option available if you have an Amazon account that you want to put this through. Different options, but the structure is already there. The e-commerce structure is already there. You just have to set it up. Okay, so we're going to go back home. I'm going to show you how to, in the last 10 minutes, show you how to move some things around on this homepage. Obviously, I can't tell you how to customize this entire website, but I want to give you some of the basics. All right, so I'm looking at my checklist here. We cleaned up the themes and the plugins. We installed Astra, and why I like to use it, because it's such a easy theme to use, and because using that theme, I can use the starter plugin to get those templates so I can build my website quickly. So we did that. We looked at some of the templates. And if you want to look at all the templates they have, let me show you what website to go to. wpastra.com. And then click on, I believe there's a starter template menu item here. And I'll put that link in the chat so you guys have that. So if you go to that website, you can see all of the different templates they have. This is just their actual website. There's tons of them. Okay. All right. Let me show you how to move things around on this website. So this is what the page looks like. To edit this, as long as you're logged into your WordPress dashboard, you'll see this black thin menu header here. And what you want to click on is this W. I'm sorry. Put your cursor over the name and then a drop down and then click dashboard. W would take you to the WordPress site, and you don't want that. WordPress company's website. Okay, so now you're in your dashboard and you want to go to pages. And it's going to list all of the pages on your website. The checkout page, your purchase history, your purchase confirmation page, all the things that's needed for your e-commerce. But let's focus on the home page. And what you want to do is there's two edit buttons. There's a plain edit button. There's a quick edit button. So there's really three. And then there's edit with Elementor. We're going to click on edit with Elementor. But I just remembered something. Before we do that, I'm going to go down to settings and permalinks. Because right now, if you look at, let me see. I'm putting my cursor over books. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see the web address for that link. And if you notice, it's https:// wiaw.webappeal.co, which is the subdomain. And then there's a / and a bunch of letters. There's a question mark, the word page _ID equals 590. When you first load WordPress, it numbers all of your pages. But wouldn't it be easier if it was / and then the name of the page? Wouldn't it be easier if this said / books, because that's the name of the page? Well, this is how you do that. You don't have to actually go into each page and change the name. You go to what's called settings and then permalinks. And here in permalinks, you want to choose post name and then save your changes. And what that does is, we're going to refresh the screen. What that does is it changes the name of this page. I got to refresh it and then it'll change it. From all that question mark page, it changes to / books. So now the web address is https / wiaw.webappeal.co / books. Easier to remember, right? Okay. So one click and a save, and that's done. All right. Now we are going to edit this page. Go to pages. And we're going to click on edit with Elementor. All right. Now, very basics. We installed a starter site. I gave you an overview of the page builders. And now we're going to go through the basics. All right. I'm going to show you how to change your heading, edit your headings. And that's what this is right here. Move this over so we can see a little bit more. X out of that. This is a heading here, right? And we're going to show you how to edit a text editor, which is right here, a text box. I'm going to show you how to change an image. and I'm going to show you how to add or take away a button. Okay, and I think that's all we're going to have time for today. But basically, the website's built. You just have to go in and change the text, change the images, change where your buttons go, etc. So let's start with the headings. Elementor the Elementor editor is broken up into two types of screens. On the left over here, you'll see all of the editing elements, all of the widgets that you can use to drag and drop into this page. On the right, you'll see a smaller version of this home page. And as you can tell, there's like lines that as I move my cursor around, you see these lines and tabs show up. Basically, what they are elements on a page, right? There's your header. So my cursor is right here in this top area, but you see that there's a blue tab in the middle. The blue tabs in the middle that look like that means that's a section. It's a box on a page, right? And within that section, there are columns. Sometimes you'll see one column, sometimes you'll see 3 columns, 2 columns, etc. You can add and take away columns as needed. Inside the columns are elements, hence the name Elementor. So you have a section, you have columns, and you have elements inside the columns. So this section, when you click on this tab, over here on the left, it says Edit Section. You can change the behavior of this section. You can make it wider, you can make it more narrow, you can change how things sit in that section, whether you want everything towards the top, the bottom, or the middle. In the columns, you'll see that they're denoted by these little black boxes. So if I put this cursor over here, you'll see this little black box. That's 1 column and that's 2 columns. So in this column, there's space up here, but in this column, there's this much space between the picture and the top. But if you look here, there's a lot more. That's basically a setting for this column called margins. Okay, it's just padding you put on top of it. That's a little bit over and above, but basically what you want to do here is you want to click on the element that you want to edit. And when you click on it, the left side changes. So before I clicked on this heading, I had clicked on the section. And now it says Edit Section. But I want to change this heading. So I'm going to click on the heading. And now over here on the left, change to Edit Heading. And as you can see, you can change the content of the heading and the size and whether or not it's an active link. Or you can change the style, which means you can change the text color, the typography, which is the font, the text stroke, the shadow, the blend, and then you can edit an advanced element of this element. And that is any margin around the header or any padding inside of the cell, the width, the position, the stuff we usually don't use. Okay, so over here in the content tab underneath edit heading, you can change this to Wendy's new book. Okay, over here on style, you can change the color of the text. Just click on this box here and pick a color, or click on this box here and you can access your default colors for this particular template. Remember way back when we first changed the colors, or we were loading this particular starter site, we chose the color scheme. Well, those colors are known as the theme colors. And then there are some Elementor default colors, but you can change these at will. You don't have to go with these, right? So I'm going to change this to that blue, right? Or if you click here on this side, you can pick whatever color you want and move that around. Okay. All right, we're going to go back to that blue. and move on. Can you swap the text box with the image box where the text box will be on the right and the image on the left? Yes. A. Lockridge asks if you can switch the, as you can see here, the text is on this side and the picture is on this side. If you want to keep the formatting the way it is, just switch the columns. And so if I click and hold this column box and move it over and drop it. Oh, that didn't work. Hold on. Okay, maybe if I move this one to the right, it'll switch. Usually it switches. There you go. So pull it over, ooh, and drop it. So now the words are on the right and the book is on the left. Okay. If you notice the text, when I did that, the text is right up against the picture. So you might want to put some padding on the left side of this column. So to do that, click on the column to make it active over on the left. And then click Advanced. And we want to put some padding on the left side. Now, watch this. If I put 10 in there, it's going to put 10 all the way around that box. So you see there's a little bit of space on the left, the bottom. Can't really see it over on the right unless I hover over this box. And then there's some padding up here. So it puts it all around. But if you only want it on the left side, you change it to 50 so you see more of a pronouncement. So there's more space now all the way around. Let's say, oh, it went up to 52. Let's say you just want padding. Put it back to nothing. Let's say you just want padding on the left. You unclick this button so that it's gray like the rest of it, and then just go to the box here and put the number, and it only puts padding on the left. Looks like there needs to be some on the right as well, so I'm going to do that. But the top and bottom remain at 0. Okay? And just remember, we put that padding on the column. You could also put the padding just around a particular element. Now, it wouldn't look good because then, let me start over here and click on, let's say, the title. Right? So now, or the heading, now I'm editing this heading and I'm going over to advanced. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to unclick this link and put padding on the right and left of just the words. So now you see that these elements are still right up against the picture, right? So what we want to do is we want to make sure we put padding around the entire area. So that's why I chose to put padding around the column. So let's go back to the column and put, I'm going to do 40. Oops. You just, come on. Delete that and delete that. So now it's just on the right and the left. You want to see the wireframe design of the page? This editor doesn't allow for that. You can't see it all at once in a particular design diagram. Basically, you are looking at the wireframe. It's just you can't see it all at once. What I like to do before I customize a client's website is I will let me go ahead and update this so we can show you what it looks like. Over here on the right, I'm going to go ahead and refresh the screen because this is a live version of this page. And as you can see now, the picture's on the left, the words on the right, and the headings here are changed to blue. So what I do is I use a tool called, what's this tool called? Go Full Page. And I will create a PDF of the entire page and print it out and make my notes, my changes there. Not sure if you were asking me for a specific reason for the wireframe to see it, but because this is an editor that's drag and drop for DIYers, they didn't create an element where you can print off the wireframe. So that's how I got around that. I start with what's there. I go to the page. I click on this little, it's an extension that I added to Chrome. And basically it takes a picture of the entire page and creates a PDF. And then I'll print out the PDF and make my notes on that. I hope that answers your question, Lockridge. So you see here's the entire PDF of the page. And I can go in and make my adjustments, get rid of this section if I don't want that section on the home page, or move this section up here and this one down here, etc. All right, let's get back to editing. So we edited the header. The next element I want to show you is a text editor or our text box. This was a heading, pretty easy, right? Content, style, and advanced. For this text editor, it's the same element or the same aspects, but what you can do is a little bit different. When you click on a text editor element or widget, it's called a text editor. It almost looks like a word processing dashboard, like WordPress, right? Or not WordPress, Word.com. If you open this little icon up here, you get more editing features. And it looks almost like you're in Word, right? Let me open that up a little bit so you can see it. So basically, it acts as if it's a word processor. So you could copy and paste text from a Word document. I suggest you click this icon to do that so that it doesn't bring in all those extra characters if you're copying and pasting from certain word processing applications. But here is where you would put the text of what you need to say here in this box. Here is the area that you would use to create a brief description of your book or ebook. Blah, 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 right? And it works, like I said, it works just like a word processing software application like Word.com, right? And then we could put another paragraph here of the same text just to fill it out. Okay. I'm going to move this back over. This little button here actually opens up the editing pane a little bit more for you. I'm going to make it smaller so we see more of this. Okay. So that's the text editor. Now for the image, when you click on an image to edit it, over on the left, you'll see a smaller portion of the image. And if you want to change the image, just click on this box here over on the left. And what opens up is your media library. It's going to prompt you to upload a new file, or you can go to your media library and look and see what's there. There's also a free image element. So I'm going to change it to this book here. And I'm going to click Insert Media. So that changes the picture. Now, of course, this is a different size. It may not be formatted correctly for this page. So we're going to go over here to the style for this image and see if we can make it wider. And we can. Or you can click these little buttons here. All right. And we're going to move it over so that it's in the middle of this. Right now it's over to the right. So we're going to go over to content. See how it's right justified? We're going to click center justified so it looks a little better. So there's lots of things you can do with positioning elements on a page, a heading, a text area, an image area. I've just showed you the basics. One more I'm going to show you is the button. So if we wanted to, first of all, I'm going to get rid of this Kindle button. Come on. And the way you get rid of an element is, oh, one more thing. This element inside this section, inside this column, below this header, well, that's a header too, I think. Yeah, that's a little small header. Large header, text box, text area, and then you have two buttons. But if you notice, there are two buttons inside of what looks like another section. This is called an intersection. And basically people use that so that they can put smaller columned, formatted data in one column. So instead of pulling in, like if I wanted to make this 3 columns, right? I could add another column here by right clicking and duplicate. So now I have 3 buttons, right? It doesn't look too good, so I'm going to get rid of one of them. But you see what I'm saying? It's an intersection that you can create more columns. And people do that sometimes when they want to do 2 buttons or 2 smaller images or 2 smaller boxes of text. They may do it that way. Okay? All right, so let's get rid of that. And it also created a 3rd column. So I'm going to get rid of the column. And I'm right clicking on these. So I'm not going to get rid of the column because I want the button to be over to the left. So I'm going to keep it that way. That's one way to do it. But I'm just going to get rid of this button here by right clicking on this blue box for this element and hitting delete. Okay. Let's say you wanted to add another button. There's a button widget over here to the left. You click and drag it till you see that blue bar and drop it. Right? You can put whatever text you want on this button. Right now it says click here. And then when people click that button, this is where you would put the URL to go wherever you want to go. Let's say you wanted to go to my website. Okay. And let's update it. And then let's look and see where that button goes. So again, you can add a button, and this is where you would put the link. If I click on this button, they actually use a short code because this button actually goes to the e-commerce shop. Okay, 2 different types of buttons. This is a simple button using the widget, and this one is specific to this particular, well, it's actually that other book that we changed the cover for. But you can code it so that, put it in here, put the right short code in for that particular book in this area. What's happening? Okay, there we go. In this box, and that code, when you click that button, will take you right to that book, or put it in the shopping cart so people could check out. All right, so let's look and see what this website looks like now. Let's go back up to the top and refresh the screen. And now the new book is there, and then that extra button. And so when I click on this button, it's going to change the screen to my website for my website toolkit. All right. All right. So that's where I'm going to end class today. Next week, I'm going to show you more about Elementor. I'm going to get really, really down and dirty into the weeds. I'm going to show you what a lot of these widgets over here on the left are all about. We're going to keep working on this website, and I'll show you some more of the elements. So between now and next Saturday, if you have questions about what I showed you today, please, please, please leave them here in the chat. Leave them on the Facebook group or below the video on YouTube, and I will answer them next week. I'm really, really excited to show you how the e-commerce part of this particular template works. So you don't have to have a Shopify account. You don't have to have any other kind of shopping cart. You can do it right here on your WordPress website. If you have a PayPal and or a Stripe account or an Amazon account, you can also attach those as payment processors right here on your website. Okay. All right. So last thing I'm going to tell you about is every website that you build should start with planning and a strategy. This website planner, toolkit that I created is free. It walks you through your brand message. It walks you through how to choose and how to identify your ideal client by creating a story behind your ideal client. It walks you through what kinds of content you're going to be offering people through your website. It also walks you through a goal setting exercise for what's the goal of the different pages of your website, right? Is it to sign up people to your email list? Is it to book an appointment? Is it to download a media kit if you're a speaker? Those goals will dictate how you build your website and what tools and plugins you can add to facilitate it, so you don't have to outsource to a third party application to get it done. All right. Next week, I'll show you more about Elementor, but I'm also going to show you how to embed a form on your website for an opt-in. For instance, if you have ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign, or MailChimp as your email service provider, you can put a form, embed a form right on your WordPress website to automatically put that email into your email service provider. Okay. So if you go to wendyj.com/website planner 2, download this free guide and start planning your website. Then you can come back to this video and build your website, but plan it out first with the strategy and the goals you need your website to help you accomplish whatever it is you want to create. All right. Okay. That's it. I'm signing off for the day. It's Saturday, and I'm going to do something for this beautiful day. You're welcome, A. Lockridge. You're welcome, Gwen. Thanks for joining me today, guys. If you're watching this on the replay, be sure to leave me some comments below so I can answer your questions. Next week, it's more about Elementor and what you can do to customize this template. Okay? All right. Have a great Saturday. Bye.